Welcome back to Real Life Fishing, everybody. Uh, in this episode, I'd like to talk to you guys about how to make through wire baits. So we'll show you how I'm doing that. It's an example of one. Here's one that I made here. This is 51 thousandths through wire, stainless, but yeah, if we can see that. Hopefully you can see that all right. So if anybody wants this one is available. Find me on Facebook. You look up, there you go to www.skibaits.com. That'll take you to my Facebook page. This one is available for $60 plus shipping, and I've got another one as well that's it's got a white belly and that's also got a gill on it, but it's in the other room. So in any event, through wire baits. If you guys have watched previous videos, I'm sure at least some of you have, you probably saw that I was doing screw eyes when I was first getting started and figuring all this out, and you know, a lot of my testing and almost all of my prototype baits were screw eye. They're a lot easier. Screw eyes are a lot easier. Not gonna lie, they're way easier. So because they're so much easier, you know, I was going to charge less for the baits, right? So that's 60. Next season, that bait will be 80. I'm doing 60 for the introductory season. But in any event, yeah, so screw eyes. All right, so here's a screw eye. These just screw into the bait. You know, you epoxy them in, and they're good. They're strong. You know, there's a video that was done by another YouTuber. I will throw a link to it in the cards, where he tested, you know, different types of screw eyes and, you know, attachment methods, and, you know, very scientific. And I mean, they're plenty strong, but you know, so why through wire? Well, in my opinion, there's a lot of baits out there on the market that are screw eye baits, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you know, some of these screw eye baits, guys are getting, you know, $100, $200, sometimes even $400 or $500 for a screw eye bait. And if you go and you look on Google, you'll see images every once in a while of a guy with a leader with nothing but a screw eye left on the end of it. It tore out of the bait, right? And they lost the fish. And that's just horrible, you know. So because my goal with this whole project and hobby that is slowly turning into a business, right? My goal with all of this was to build better lures than a guy could just go to the store and buy. And so, in my opinion, part of building better means building stronger. And stronger means through wire. So that's what I'm doing. So here's some blanks that I just finished. So you can see here that this has got the slot already cut for the through wire. And the way that I'm cutting those. So before I even go and tell you about this, you know, I struggled for a while about, am I going to tell people about how I'm going to do this, or how I'm doing this, or am I not? And originally I wasn't going to tell people about some of the ways that, you know, some of the tools and the ways that I figured out to do things with making baits, right? And the reason for that is that the information was very difficult to come by, very difficult to find. It came from many different sources. There was no, this is how you make a bait, right? It was watching this guy's video and paying attention to everything he did, and then watching this guy's video and paying attention to everything he did, and then this one and this one and this one and this one, and reading all these different sources just to try and figure out all the different pieces to put together the process that I wanted to use, right? Before we get too far into this and I forget, tonight is Weller Special Reserve. I've received a few comments in the past about my drink being a little spendy. This one is very, very affordable, but very, very difficult to find. It's so affordable, it's actually got a screw cap, but it's really good. So anyway, at first I wasn't going to tell people how I was doing the things that I'm doing with making the baits. And it's not that I'm not proud of how I'm making them. It's just that, I don't know, the information almost seems proprietary, right? You know, I put all this effort into figuring out how I'm going to make these and how I'm going to do this. And, you know, I'm just going to put it out there on the internet, and then anybody can go and you know, use my techniques and make lures, right? And the more I do this, the more I realize that that's great. If you want to make lures, you should make lures, honestly. But you need to know that this isn't just some, you know, I'm going to make one lure or two lures. I mean, that's fine if you want to do that. But honestly, for the amount of equipment and tooling, and, you know, I'm sure you can do it a lot of the stuff the old-fashioned way. You know, you can carve the wood with a knife and just sand it, and, you know, you can cut through wire slots with a handsaw, or, you know, however you want to do it. You know, bend your wire by hand. But I mean, if you really want to get professional-looking, high-quality results out of all of this, then there's no way around the fact that you need quite a bit of tooling to do it. And if you only want to make one or two lures for yourself and you don't already have the tooling, trust me, save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars and buy one of my lures, even if you think it's expensive, because it'll be so much cheaper in the long run. I mean, since the last video that I did where we walked through the shop, you know, I've added 2 more saws. And we'll take a look at those in a future video. But so anyway, how am I cutting the through wire slot? I'm cutting the through wire slot actually on the router table, and I'm doing it using this. Just a spinning blade takes a slice out of the bait, and that's how I'm doing it. So I picked up that bait on Amazon, just like I do with most other stuff, right? And that's not just due to the pandemic. I mean, I live in a pretty small town in rural Wisconsin, and you know, the biggest retailer in town is a Walmart, and they really don't have shit. Plus, I hate going there because it's full of Walmart people. But anyway, so I've got the slot cut here for the through wire, right? So here's the through wire, right? Look at that. The bends are all nice and round. It's a good looking through wire, right? There it is. Through wire in the bait. Yeah, I'm sure you think, oh, those are sticking out pretty far, you know, but you need them out far, because by the time you get done putting epoxy and paint and more epoxy and everything else on here, that's going to shrink up really, really fast. And you want these to be open enough that you can get split rings in there to attach your hooks, your line tie, all that kind of stuff, right? So they do need to stick out a bit. But how did I get those to be so nice looking, right? Well, I'll show you. Come over here. That is how I got those to be so nice looking. So what is that? This is a piece of plate aluminum. Again, guess what? I got it on Amazon. But you can see there's some holes drilled in there, right? And those holes if we overlay this on top of it, other way. If we overlay this on top of it, those holes line up with my wire. So here's how that works. I've got some pegs that go in those holes. Look at that. That's how that works. Genius, right? And here's how you twist it. This tool right here. You can see on the end there's a slot cut in there. So the wire just fits in that slot. This pin fits in the hole. You twist it and it bends the wire. Genius tool. I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. I will put a link to the video where I learned how to do this in the cards. You guys can go and watch that. It's an excellent video. The guy's pretty sharp. It's actually the same guy that did the testing for the brake strength that was in the cards previously here. So check out his videos. I've learned quite a bit from him. So yeah, be sure to check out his videos. I've learned quite a bit from him. Even though he doesn't make the same types of lures that I make, his processes and procedures are still very, very sound. The way he does things, he's very methodical. I like that. So what's next then in the Thru Wire steps, right? So the next thing that you've got to do is you've got to tape off the lure. All right, so I'm just using blue painter's tape, and I'm cutting the lip slot on both sides so that I can insert the lip, and then put the Thru Wire in, put in the ballast, and then epoxy all that up. And once the epoxy sets, then or starts to set, you can peel off the tape, and then you'll just have a hard line of epoxy down the center, and then you sand that off, and then continue on with the build process. Right? It's pretty straightforward. But it's time consuming. I'm not gonna lie, and that's that's why the price went up from the screw eyes to Thru Wire. I mean, right now I've got about 80 blanks available that I'm working through. I just cut them and did all the work with them during the week. There they are, box of blanks, right? So that box of blanks has ballast holes drilled, eyes cut, eye sockets drilled, and Thru Wire slots cut. So those are all ready to be finished sanded then, and hit on the belt sander and then hand sanded, and then they're ready for taping and wire. And I'm trying to do wire in batches of 10. Just because it's easier for me to manage that way. But the goal is to have all these ready and seal coated and primed and everything, so that next weekend I can paint. And I'm not going to paint all 80, but I'll do a bunch of them. But yeah, so a lot of the videos that I was talking about that I watched, I had to watch this guy's video and pick a few things out, watch this guy's video, pick a few things out. I'm sure ultimately that's what's going to end up happening here, right? You guys are going to pick a few things out of this and take from it what you need and what helps for the types of lures that you're trying to build, right? So eventually I will put together a bunch of sequences and make a video of start to finish. Here's a board, and at the end of the video is going to be a lure, right? And that'll be a longer project. Honestly, I'll probably do that next winter, because this winter is kind of starting to draw to a close already. I'm not going to build baits during the summer, so I'm already far enough through the process with these that to go back and redo that piece, it would just sorry guys, you'll have to wait till next winter. But hopefully later today I will get to install that that Helix 7 and that NMEA stuff in the boat. It's, I don't know, 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning right now, and it's supposed to, you know, later on it's supposed to get up to almost 50. So I think that might be warm enough to be out in the garage. But yeah, for now, I've got to get back and finish taping these off and get some epoxy in them and get them ready to go. So hopefully you guys picked something up from this that you liked, that, you know, you were able to learn something from this. You know, if you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button for me. Again, you guys are probably tired of hearing this if you've watched videos before, but my goal with every video is to get 1 new subscriber. So if you're not subscribed yet, be my 1 for this video. You should see that picture down there in the corner of my truck with a crooked ass trailer behind it. Nope, sorry, today's not story time. But go ahead, click on that, or click the subscribe button down there. If you want to be notified, click to ring the bell or whatever nonsense it is these kids are saying these days. I don't know. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.